First off, I want to again give a shout out to Ellen Dorsey for her courage, for her commitment, and it was a great event the other night honoring her. But there are in this room also a lot of others of you. Claudine Schneider, we worked when you were a congressman, a Republican congressman trying to get this stuff put in place. Tom Van Dyke, who's been doing this, God, we can't even figure out how long we've known each other. Tony Cortese, who's been bringing this into education. And I could go on all day naming people in this room. John Powers, without whom none of us would be here. We are an amazing, awesome group of people. And I don't think we take time enough to celebrate ourselves. Ellen said it real well. If you own fossil, you own climate change. That's a message. You know, we talk about messaging. That's a message that we need to spread everywhere. And you don't just own climate change, you own its consequences. Newsweek, 28th of April. The geologists are now reckoning that that big quake in the Himalaya was caused in part by climate change. We're shifting the burden of water. We're shifting the flows of water. We're shifting when water melts off the mountains. The shift in the monsoons coming from climate change may well have caused the Sendai earthquake. We don't even know what all we're causing. But as you pay attention to the science, you know, it's getting worse and worse. And we need to keep calling this out. If you own fossil, you own climate change. You own those people who died in Nepal. You own the people who died in Japan. And is that okay with you? We're in a horse race with catastrophe. Good news is we're in the race. And the really good news, we're winning. We are at a tipping point. We are on the cusp of the greatest transformation in any of our lives. And we all go around, oh, we're losing. It's really bad. We're so losing. That's a great message. Let's run through some statistics. Bank of America yesterday. Coal mining companies pose an increasingly risky investment. Going forward, Bank of America will continue to reduce our credit exposure to coal extraction companies committed to increasing lending to renewable energy and energy efficiency, carbon capture and storage, and that one's not on. Their renewable energy portfolio is currently more than 3 times as large as their coal extraction portfolio. Messaging, this is what we need to start saying. The big guys are doing this. Coal stocks, Bloomberg estimates coal stocks have lost 50 to 90% of their value since 2005. Shares in Peabody, world's largest private sector coal company, have sunk 84% since 2010. They've slipped 3 rungs below investment grade. Company lost $525 million in 2013, hemorrhaged $787 million in 2014. You really want to own that? Oh, but China's going to need all this coal. First 3 months of this year, China imported 42% less coal than the first 3 months of last year. China is getting off coal. Why? They can't breathe. I've been doing a lot of work in China of late. Did you know that China has written into its constitution a commitment to create the ecological civilization? Wow. They don't know what that means. They're very clear about that. So they are asking a lot of us who've been doing this work for a while to come over and help them figure it out. And if you look at the litany of folk who have been in China of late, talking at big Chinese convocations. I was sitting in February with a guy who negotiated China's entry into the World Trade Organization, talking about a regenerative economy. I was over there with John Fullerton, one of our impact investors, who, if you have not read his new paper on regenerative capitalism, just came out at Yale about a week ago. You can get it off the Capital Institute website. Really important thinking. One of the things he's trying to do is set forth the universal principles of how the universe works and thus how an economy has to work. If there are universal principles, they would apply to our work as well. And I think this is a first crack at it. Is it perfect? No. Is he going to keep working on it? Yeah. And about, 4 days ago, I woke up on an island outside of Stockholm, Exgaret, with 15 people pulled from around the world, pulled together by the Club of Rome, including Fullerton, including folk from Johan Rockström's Stockholm Resilience Institute that did the planetary boundaries, Dr. Kate Raworth of Oxford, who did the human minimums, Holly Dublin, who put the B team together, Ashok Khosla out of India, who does development alternatives, Anders Wigman, who has just done the big study for Sweden on the circular economy, showing that if Sweden implemented a circular economy, they would cut their carbon emissions 70%, dramatically grow the Swedish economy, and create jobs. And they're now rolling this out for the Netherlands and for Spain. How are these countries that are struggling going to rebuild their economies? They're going to go green. They're going to go sustainable. They're going to go regenerative. We have all the technologies we need to solve all the problems facing us. And this is another message to get out. Solar is not an experimental technology that might give us some energy in 2050. If you look at the recent solar numbers, the Bank of Abu Dhabi just issued about 2 weeks ago a study on the cost of solar. Solar is going to be at grid parity essentially everywhere in about 2 years. Study out of Germany said exactly the same thing. Grid parity in about 2 years, essentially everywhere in the world. In the last 2 weeks, I've had 3 articles in The Guardian running through all these statistics and showing that if you're a developing country, you're going to leapfrog to renewable energy. You're not going to build coal plants. Why? Because last June, Citigroup came out with a report, Energy Darwinism, said there is utility scale solar on offer at 5 cents a kilowatt hour. They said we discount that because that's subsidized. Hint to Citi, all energy is subsidized, and the fossil gets about 12 times everything that went to efficiency and renewables. But fine, what they said was 10-year forward unsubsidized price of gas, which they said was the cheapest, 11 cents a kilowatt hour. 10-year unsubsidized forward price of solar, 10 cents a kilowatt hour. They said it's over, solar wins. They said this is now the era of renewables. And about 3 weeks ago, a report came out of Germany, said in the same time frame, solar will be at 4 to 6 cents a kilowatt hour. By 2050, it'll be at 2 cents a kilowatt hour. That competes with efficiency. It's over. Solar wins. So about, a month ago, Michael Liebrich at Bloomberg said the same thing. This is now the era of renewables. Fossil has just lost the race with renewables. These kinds of figures should be on the tip of everybody's tongue. Divest, it's just better business. And there are now study after study after study coming out and showing that. MSCI tracked fossil-laden portfolios versus fossil-free portfolios over the past 5 years. The fossil-free portfolios outperformed. But then what? What do you put your money into? Fullerton again. All investment has impact. Impact investing. What, are we creating just another little asset class so that managers can make more fees? All investment has impact. Where is your money while you're sleeping? So a group of us got together, about a year ago, put together a set of portfolios called Principia. Its portfolio committee is woman-dominated, indigenous, and we started from the bottom up. I'm on it. I said, what companies do I want my money in? And we went through the list of the world's best companies. Oh, surprise, most of them are blue chips. And we got rid of all of fossil for one portfolio. Another portfolio has, I think it's less than 5% fossil, another one less than 10% fossil. And we built these portfolios to be the portfolios of the new economy. And I'm arguing now we should build what we call the edge portfolio, which is the companies that we really want our money in. I cannot say that one will outperform, but it's where I want my money. And I would think it's where you want your money if what you care about is building a world that works for 100% of humanity, as Bucky Fuller said. The economy we have now functions, its purpose is to flow money as efficiently as possible into the finance sector. And it is destroying the planet, and it is destroying human dignity. Everywhere we look, this is the result. We need an economy in service to life, in which finance goes back to being just a tool, in service to a real economy that functions to be in service to life. Those of you in this room are the heart of this movement, but you're not alone. Article in today's Triple Pundit on how women are the new wealth. And women want to be investing in this. And women-owned companies are financially outperforming male-managed companies. Women-managed portfolio are outperforming. We stand at the cusp of a transformation many of us have dreamed of since we began this work decades ago. We're winning, and we ought to be celebrating that. And I got to go run for an airplane. I'm off to see the King of Morocco, who has... I tell everybody to divest. I have divested. I'm 100% divested. Such money as I have. But everywhere I go, I tell people to divest. Simply because it's better business, but secondly because it is the step in the direction of building this economy that we want. So I am deeply grateful to all of you, and look forward to getting to hang out with you when I don't have to run for an airplane.